Okay, so AI and podcasting, two things that
They don't really seem like they go together.
Right.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Like oil and water, maybe?
Yeah. Like they shouldn't mix, but hold on to your headphones, folks, because this new tool we're diving into today, it really had us doing a double take. Like
It's moving fast.
Yeah.
Like really fast.
it's wild.
It's moving too fast.
So we're
Hello friends, welcome to Spark Tech Fusion. I'm very excited today to share something very exciting that I found yesterday only, and it is about creating professional level podcasts very easily. So if you are creating content for any purposes, the content, maybe the content is for yourself to promote your own brand or a business that you have. If you are in that business of generating content, one of the things that we definitely need to market that content is podcast, right? Podcast is becoming really popular these days. A lot of people do podcasts. And if you want to convert any content to a podcast, it requires you to hire a professional marketing agency. You hire them, you provide them with your content, you tell them how to generate the podcast or create the podcast, and you work with them to create that podcast script that either you or the people from that podcast are going to do the podcast, right, or speak on that podcast. A couple of days back, I found this amazingly smart tool from Google. It's called NotebookLM.Google, and it takes only a few minutes. So let's get into it, right? So first step is you need to have the content ready, right? This is the website that you need to go to. It's Google's website. It's called NotebookLM. It's an experiment right now, as you can see at the top. And what you need to do is you need to click on Try NotebookLM. When you click on Try, you can add a new notebook, as you can see here. I'm already signed in because I already have an account with Google. So you click on this new notebook, and you now need to upload sources, and the source is the content that you want to develop the podcast for, right? So in this case, what I've done is I've taken the content from an article that is about this capability itself that we are talking about, right? So it says, I tried Google's new one-click AI podcast creator, and now I don't know what's real anymore. So let's create a podcast for this content itself. So what I've done is I've taken this blog content, and then I've downloaded this blog content on my desktop. So let me show you there. So this is my desktop, right? So I've created a Word document. Let me open that. And this Word document has, as you can see here, the content of the same article. So what we're going to do now is upload this to that Google NotebookLM and then convert this to a podcast. So I go back here to add sources, click on upload, go to desktop. Oh, actually it doesn't let me upload a Word document. So I'll have to, I think, convert it to a PDF instead. So I converted it to PDF. Now we can open this in Google LM. So as you can see, it's being uploaded here. Google LM is trying to understand what's happening, what's the content of this document is. And now we are going to click on this button called generate, right? It says deep dive conversation, 2 hosts, English only. Let's click on this generate button. And this is the button that you need to click on to create the podcast, right? So we'll click on this generate button here. And then as you can see, it's now saying that it can take a few minutes. And we don't have to stick around as it's happening, but it's very, very exciting. I did this yesterday with the content that I have regarding some APIs that I'm working with. I shared it with my colleagues, and everybody around me was super amazed or wowed by what this capability could do. I mean, it's very difficult to tell that it's not generated by a professional agency, but an AI tool. As this is getting rendered, one thing I found about the podcast that I created yesterday was, it was very natural, just like two people, a male and female, talking about the content, thinking about the content, and then coming up with ideas on the spot. It appeared very natural, like with the stutters, kind of things. Also, people talking over each other, right? Just like the actual podcast, right, that you listen to. So, really, really interesting that this tool could do that. It's pretty straightforward, right? So, the step one was you need to have the content file so that you can upload it. The content needs to be in a PDF format, right? Step two is go to Google NotebookLM.google and then upload the content, right? That's step two. And step three is on the right hand side of the window, clicking on that button, audio overview button, right, which generates the podcast. And it takes a few minutes. So with that, I'll share the generated podcast towards the end of the video so you can listen to it. But it's really, really amazing. And then please share your feedback and like and subscribe to our channel.
Okay, so AI and podcasting, two things that,
They don't really seem like they go together.
right,
Not at all.
not at all.
Like oil and water, maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they shouldn't mix, but hold on to your headphones, folks, because this new tool we're diving into today, it really had us doing a double take. Like,
It's moving fast.
Yeah.
Like really fast.
it's wild.
Too fast.
So we're diving into this article
Uh-huh.
by Graham Barlow.
And just to give folks context, he's a Tai Chi blogger.
Yeah, so.
He's writing about ancient meditation practices, and then suddenly AI just like explodes onto the scene.
Yeah, he's going from like, inner peace and quiet
Yeah.
to like total sci-fi. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's like someone hit the fast forward button on the future of audio
Exactly.
and his experience. It's like the perfect example of how AI is like changing everything.
But changing the game entirely.
Like the rules.
Rewriting the rules.
You don't even know what the rules are anymore.
Okay, so
Okay.
NotebookLM. That's the tool.
So-
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And essentially what it does, it takes text, like written words,
Blog posts, articles like that.
and it transforms it into a realistic audio conversation.
Like a real conversation.
And it's not just like one voice. It's like a back and forth.
Yeah, you could have multiple voices, different perspectives, all that.
And the thing is, Barlow is blown away, like really blown away, by how natural these voices sound.
It's not robotic.
It's not robotic.
It's not robotic.
You know?
Like those old school text-to-speech things.
No, not at all.
This is like listening to your real conversation between real people.
Yeah, and it's not even just about making content creation easier, although that's a huge part of it, but it's really the impact, like the potential here.
So just imagine someone who, maybe they have trouble reading or they just prefer audio. Suddenly they've got this whole new way to access information.
It's like unlocking knowledge in a way that wasn't possible before.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what else Barlow was saying? He was amazed by not just the accuracy of the information, but like the flow of the conversation.
Like it made sense.
It made sense. It all flowed together like a real conversation.
That's wild.
And get this, he even said that it added insights and examples that he hadn't even considered in his own writing.
Wow.
I know.
That's crazy.
So it's not just like repeating what's already there.
Right.
It's like it's actually understanding and synthesizing and coming up with new ideas.
Like it's thinking.
Yeah.
It's actually thinking.
It's scary almost.
It is a little bit scary.
It's like, where does it end?
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
That's the thing. Nobody knows.
But we're gonna try to figure it out today. At least a little bit.
Yeah, let's dive in.
Let's do it. It's like mind-blowing.
Right.
It really is. Like, we're used to, I don't know, AI like writing our emails for us.
Yeah, like suggesting stuff,
Yeah.
like what to watch next.
Exactly.
But this is like
This is different.
next level stuff.
Yeah, this is creating a whole conversation
What?
with different viewpoints, like arguments even,
Back and forth.
and insights, like from scratch.
And it makes sense.
It's wild.
It's crazy.
And this isn't just like some isolated thing, like Barlow mentions.
yeah, he talks about
ChatGPT,
Right.
Gemini,
Yeah.
Apple Intelligence.
Like all the big players.
All the big dogs are in on this.
They're all racing.
Yeah, it's like a
Top.
tech race
To the future.
to the future
Yeah.
and the finish line.
And who knows what the finish line even looks like?
Nobody knows what that looks like. We have no idea.
Okay, so one of the things that Barlow hints at is this idea of like customizing the presenters. in these AI-generated audios.
So instead of just voices.
So right now it's just voices.
Yeah.
But he's saying, imagine, like you could choose their personalities, their accents,
Their tone of voice.
their tone.
Yeah.
Even, okay, this is where it gets really, really interesting. Their appearances.
Oh, you mean like as AI video technology catches up?
Like AI video.
Like we're on video
Yeah.
of us,
Yeah.
but like AI versions.
AI generated.
AI generated. Hold on. Okay, now we're in full-on sci-fi territory.
But it's closer than you think.
Is it really?
I mean, think about it. We're already seeing AI being used in filmmaking.
Really?
Yeah, like for special effects, even like entire scenes. So just imagine, like in a few years, instead of just listening to this deep dive,
Right.
you could watch it
Oh my gosh.
with like AI versions of us.
like AI just chatting away.
That's both cool and creepy
Right.
at the same time. But it brings up a big question.
Yeah, what's that?
Like if AI can do all this, if it can write, converse, create audio, video, what does that even mean for us? For
Human
humans?
creativity. Like,
Yeah.
what are we even doing anymore?
I know, right?
If machines can do it all?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And Barlow, he tells the story about his friend's daughter
Oh, go
who's
ahead.
applying to universities.
And apparently, some of these universities are ditching the personal essay altogether
Really?
because AI
Wow.
has made it basically meaningless.
Like they can't tell.
They can't tell who wrote it.
Who actually wrote it?
Like, is it a human? Is it AI? They
Yeah.
don't know.
It's impossible to tell.
So we're already at this point
It's already happening
where it's blurring the lines,
between real and fake.
real and fabricated,
Yeah.
in something as personal
Uh-huh.
as a college application.
Exactly.
So what happens when that comes to podcasting?
To our world.
That our world.
Like, what happens when anyone can create a polished, insightful sounding podcast?
With the click of a button.
Yeah, just push a button.
How do we know?
How do we know it's real?
What's authentic?
What's actually
Like genuinely human?
human?
It's like, I don't even know. I feel like we're on information overload,
Yeah.
but in a whole new way.
In a way we've never seen before.
Yeah, like it's not just too much content. It's like,
It's too real.
it's too realistic.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
it's hard to tell
Where it's coming from.
where it's coming from.
Who's behind it?
And that's what Barlow was saying at the end of his article. He was like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure I know what's real anymore.
Wow.
And I got to say, after reading that, I felt the same way.
Yeah, that's a powerful statement.
It is,
And I think that feeling, that
yeah,
like
uneasiness.
that wonder and apprehension,
Yeah.
that's what makes this conversation so important.
So crucial.
We're like standing on the edge of something huge.
A whole new era
A whole new era of content creation.
powered by AI
But we got to ask the tough questions
Yeah.
about what we might be gaining
and what we might be losing.
on the way.
What are we sacrificing?
Exactly.
It's like we've stepped into this weird alternate reality where everything looks the same, but it's all got this like AI twist to it.
Like a glitch in the matrix.
Exactly. And we're the ones like trying to figure out the rules.
Yeah, and that's what makes this so important. We can't just
Literally.
sit back and let this happen to us.
Right? We can't be passive.
We got to be part of this conversation.
We got to shape how this technology evolves.
Absolutely.
And it's not even just about podcasting. It's bigger than that.
This is about everything.
It's about how we create.
How we consume information.
How do we even define what's real anymore?
That's the big question.
It really is. Like, I remember when I was applying to college, it was all about plagiarism.
Right. Making sure you weren't copying.
Yeah, copying someone else's work.
But now it's like
Now-
the whole idea of authorship is changing.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
even owns the ideas?
Exactly.
It's a fundamental shift.
And it brings up so many questions.
Like, how do we measure human creativity
Right. When machines can do it.
when machines can do it just as well
Or even better.
or even better? And what about trust?
Oh, that's a big one.
Like when we're listening to a podcast or reading an article, how do we know?
Hard to trust.
Yeah, who's behind it?
Is it a real person? Is it AI?
And does it even matter? Like, those are the questions.
Those are the questions we need to be asking.
It's a lot to process.
It really is.
I don't have all the answers,
That's okay.
but I do know this is a conversation we got to keep having
We can't ignore it.
because AI,
It's here to stay
it's already changing the world.
in ways we probably can't even imagine.
It's both exciting and terrifying.
It's the future.
It is. So, what do you think?
Yeah, we want to hear from you.
What are your hopes, your concerns
Yeah.
about AI? about podcasting, about the future of content.
Hit us up on social media.
Let's keep this conversation going.
Until next time.
Keep those ears open and those minds curious.
Yeah.